here. So what do I do now? What do I do from here? How do I click things into place? Well, I've got this over here, which is going to act as kind of a window to here. So I wonder if I should put this in next. I'm going to put this into here because I think this lines up like so. I don't know if you can see that too well. Just like this over here. So that fits in nicely over here. I'm going to take one of these pieces, a corner piece, and just slide it into here so that we're getting this type of a configuration. Now once we have that, now that we kind of know the structure, I'm just going to turn this upside down and place it down like this. So the first side is really just a matter of placing these things. Okay, and I'm just going to keep going with that. I'm going to take this and I'm going to place this in. Okay, I'll keep traveling around, placing these little pieces in. There we go, kind of clicks into place there. And same thing here. There we go. So I'm getting this type of a configuration and one last piece. And again, you have to sort of slope it downwards like this. Okay. So I've got all these in here, so it looks like this. If you can imagine, don't want to make it fall, but there we go, just like that. So I'm going to set that down. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the corner pieces, and that's these big guys over here. That'll help stabilize it even more. And this comes up against each one of these and dives a little bit deep. Just like so. And splat. Click this into here. Oh, there is that extra screw. Okay, he sent me more screws because we thought that this didn't include it, but it was hidden in here. Sorry, my fault. Anyway, so now I got the corners in here. Now, can't really show what that looks like because it'll come apart, but I've got the corners, edges, and it looks like the first side is probably assembled. I think what I may want to do is start placing these guys. Just so that I get the orientation correctly, I'm going to move this into here so I know that this goes in on this side. Whoops. Just like this. So that means I'm going to slide this in just by the corner here. Splat. Okay, so these are going to fit snug against these corner pieces here. Take this, and same kind of thing. Fit this snug over here. And I'm just going to keep doing that all the way around the puzzle. And as I'm doing this, I should be stabilizing the corners. So, same thing with this. I'm going to take this and slide it into here. Oh, I put this in on the wrong side. And it's pretty apparent, so that just plops into there. I'm going to grab this, line it up like so, and plop this into this side here. What is this turning into? We're getting a little bit more stability within the puzzle. Taking this here, angling it correctly, and plopping it in. There we go. Okay. And now I'm going to take another one of these windows and place it right into here. Just like that. Alright, so I've got this window over here. Now I'm going to sort of trace this around, all the way around here. Turn this around like so. Bang. Now the more I'm doing this, the more I'm creating tension. Put it at the side and pop it in. Okay, keep coming around. And pop it in. Okay, so we see all of our sides here are coming in nicely. Just like so. So I'm going to keep filling in the gaps. Still not a whole lot of tension on it, but let's see what comes next. Now more of these corner pieces or these edge pieces to line up with these and pop it right in. The more it's popping in, the more tension is building. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to pop this into here. This, however, is angled down, so getting closer, getting closer. Oh, got to angle it the other way. There we go. And splat. So we're starting to see a shape take place. This comes into here. Like this, and now I've got to oh so gently pop this back in, or pop this in. Kersplat. Again, keeping in mind not to put too much tension on this. And I'm just orbiting around here. Splat. Still very loose. But I'm to believe this is a very stable puzzle. Fold this into here. That's why we had so many of these pieces, so many of these edge pieces. These edge pieces are reminding me a lot of the Master Skewb. Like these pieces, right over here. Maybe that's what they are. And pop that into there. And as I'm doing this, I feel the tension is building and building. It's amazing how these puzzles are structured on tension. Splat. Pop that in. And I've got some more to do. As we keep popping it in. Okay, so we appear to have all of these in place. So now it's a matter of sliding what's supposed to come into here. So what's supposed to come into here? Well, good question. I think it's these corners. I think these are supposed to slide into here. Yeah. So I got a sneaking suspicion this is going to be pretty easy to put in. Plop that into here. Plop that here, and kersplat. Okay, so we see this coming together nicely here, and now this last layer is always the most challenging. Again, I'm so used to a different feel for these shapeways puzzles. Now that that's there, what if I just slide these into here? I think that will create the least amount of tension. This will slide into here. place that here. Whoops. Now placing this last window is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Putting the right amount of tension on each side. Should be able to slide it in. Aha. Okay. So this puzzle is now actually assembled. Let's see how this looks. Now again, it's really just tension that's bringing it here. Now you can see as I'm turning this, the middle part here, the very center, is turning with it. So I can follow this all the way around to the blue, to the orange, back to the yellow. Same thing with this green. Now, when I turn it like this, I'm taking this top portion with me. Now this is without any lubrication. It moves pretty amazingly, if amazingly is really a word. Now as you can see, this has all the moves of a Skewb, a master Skewb actually. So here's a corner here, and it drags these corners with it. Here's a corner here, and it's dragging these corners with it. But I have this extra layer right over here. And as I move that extra layer, it's causing some motion on the inside. So what I have is I have in essence what appears to be a master Skewb. But hidden inside this master Skewb appears to be this little copy Skewb. It's a Skewb within a Skewb. Now it's a matter of just stickering the rest of this. But really, you can see how the motion works, but as I'm moving this, when I move just this layer, I'm taking this layer with me, this layer over here, this layer deep inside. I don't know if you can see that. If I move this whole part over here, I'm taking this whole thing with me. So this promises to have some interesting challenges, but this moves very cleanly over here. Again, this is without any lubrication. It's a little grainy, but not nearly as much as you would have expected. I'm just trying every motion here before I sticker it. Yeah, this is pretty amazing. This cost me about maybe $50 actually for a puzzle like this. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and sticker the rest of this, and then I'll come back at you with this very unique, really rather well done puzzle here. I'm amazed at how it went from being pretty loose to, I don't think this thing is going to pop. Now I still could tension it. I still have access to the screws over here, so if I need to tension it more, I can do that, and it's pretty easy for me to get at it over here. So if I did tension it a little more, how would that change things? It does feel a little more rigid, but at the same time, it also feels more stable. Okay, I'll continue the process of stickering this, and we'll see what that looks like. So here's an example of a fully stickered side. I still have to sticker the rest. These little ones I did super glue on, just because, well, they're so little. Anyway, so here's what things are going to start to look like with this. Again, no lubrication has been added to this puzzle. Doesn't seem to need it. But we'll see. A little bit of stiffness, but has a very different feel than most other shapeways puzzles. So, I keep going. Okay, so here is the finished product. This is actually what you would call the multi-Skewb. Multi-Skewb because it's got multiple Skewbs in one. So it's a lot like this guy here. As a matter of fact, we can orient it so that it looks pretty much the same thing here. And you see that at the outset, the movements look pretty much the same. This is a Skewb move over here. As you can see, it moves really nice, and that's like the Skewb move over here as well. You've also got these middle moves here from a master Skewb, which is just like this middle move. So you can see homogeneous movements like that. So basically this appears to be really just a bizarre looking master Skewb. These corners are equivalent to each other. This tiny little edge is equivalent to this edge over here. Actually, let's match this up here. These long areas here are equivalent to this. This is equivalent to here. So really you have complete equivalency, but what you don't have is that in the center, which is the same thing as this, you've got more complexity here. You've got this tiny little compy area over here. So you can see when I move this, I'm taking this part of the compy Skewb right with it. So I don't know if you can see that so good. Maybe you can see the stark contrast over here. So as I turn this part here, I'm dragging this over here. So I'm taking this part of the inside with this Skewb part here. Then I can do the same thing on the other side. If I take this, it'll move this with it as well. So it promises to not just be a master Skewb scramble, but also a compy Skewb. And the question is, how am I going to solve all of them at the same time? This is the brainchild of Brandon Enright. He had the idea, and the brilliant design is by Gregor Fenning. Gregor Fenning has designed multiple puzzles, including a lot of really brilliant cuboids and shapeshifters and whatnot. So with Brandon Enright's idea and Gregor Fenning's design came up with this brilliant piece of work over here. So there it is, from assembly to, well, being assembled. Now there's nothing left to do except to scramble it and to solve it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue to break it in. It doesn't really need a lot of breaking in. It moves very smooth. It seems like it's virtually unpoppable. And what's amazing is that really what's holding this together is the tension of the pieces. The screws don't really do too much except hold the centers in, but this is held together like a jigsaw puzzle. Really brilliantly designed. So there it is, the multi-Skewb, and I'll be hitting you back with a scramble and a solve if there is so interest. In any case, Brandon, Gregoire, fantastic job. Thanks for watching.